Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is Charles, and this is the next episode of Charles Snyder Raw. It's Monday. It's unscripted, unfiltered, and for the most part, unedited versions of whatever I'm thinking about facing in business, how I'm working around problems, all that fun stuff. So, last week I talked a lot about um, mindset, getting your thinking right, thinking about things in the proper way, and just getting in front of a camera, starting to practice, getting used to it, and building some confidence and skills as you go along, practicing what you're doing. And one of the things I recommended was Toastmasters International, which is very uh, invaluable as far as that goes. It gives you a lot of opportunities to actually practice. So yes, I highly recommend it. It's a nonprofit organization. It's all over the U.S. I think it's all over the world. That's why it's called Toastmasters International. And it's all about public speaking, presenting, talking to audiences and stuff, which is going to help you make those videos that I highly recommend that you make. And it's not just me, but everyone and their brother is starting to really realize the whole video thing is very important. So maybe you should too. Anyway, that's not what I want to talk about today. I'm gonna this week. I'm gonna focus more on um, talking about like being a um, getting out there, being less vanilla, being less boring, and actually being more polarizing. And by polarizing, you probably heard the term already as far as like politics go. I'm not talking about politics. What I'm talking about is being polarizing with your brand. For example, Miracle Whip back in I think it was 2004 or something like that did this whole study where they found that they have a lot of people that really love their product and a lot of people that really hate their product. Not a whole lot in between. Versus uh, you know, Hellman's or something like that, where they had a lot of people in the center that were just, they didn't really love it, but they didn't hate it. And there wasn't a whole lot of strength there. So, anyway, long story short, Miracle Whip did a series of commercials of people that really loved their product. And they also had some people in those commercials that really hated their product. In fact, I remember one where a guy said he would sooner lick a shoe than eat a sandwich with Miracle Whip on it. Of course, on the other hand, there was another guy talking about how he preferred a sandwich with Miracle Whip on it over, say, his wife's cooking. Um, Not sure if that guy's still married or not, or if the other guy has a shoe fetish or what, but either way, it resulted in a 631% increase in social media engagement with Miracle Whip's product. The people that loved the product were talking about how much they love it. The people who hated the product were talking about how much they hated it. Either way, it was all publicity. Everyone was talking about it on social media. And it resulted in a 14% increase in sales from one year over the next, which is pretty significant because you're talking, like hundreds of millions of dollars in profit. 14% when you're dealing in hundreds of millions of dollars, 14% is a pretty significant increase. The same applies to um, if you're a wedding DJ. How could you be more polarizing to take advantage of that with your brand and maybe have a 14% increase with your business? I mean, say, God forbid you only made $1,000 a year, 14% increase is, an extra gig, another $140 a year. You're not going to be able to retire on that, but it's oversimplified math. I hope you understand what I'm getting at. So in the interest of doing that for my agency, Charles E. Snyder III Marketing, as well as myself, I need to become more polarizing myself. Um, But the one other thing, I guess, well, maybe I'll save it for like the 5 minutes with Charles video where I'll talk about some of the tactics and stuff, how to be less vanilla, to be a little more entertaining and a little more engaging in your videos. I'm going to explore the whole like polarizing thing a little bit more. I've done a little bit of it where I've talked about, like last week, the 99% versus the 1%, the millennials versus the other generations, and I talked about some of that. I've even talked a little bit here and there at politics. I'm not getting political. The politics just drives me. But what I am going to do is I am going to become much more polarizing with my business, my agency, because I mean, one of the things I really worry about is, with Anne, she's learning the back end of the business, and it's a bit of a process because she's not um, an original English speaker, and everything I have is in English because I'm not an original Tagalog speaker. So there's, it's a lengthy process as far as that goes. But one of the things I really worry about is, not just myself or my agency, but I'm also worried about her financial well-being. I'm worried about, as we continue to grow and we add more staff. I mean, one of the things I definitely need to do is bring on an account manager, one who's going to be solid in that position, at least, you know, not right now, but maybe 6 months down the road or something like that. And then my concern becomes, okay, now I'm not just worried about me. It's not just me. It's, the agency also involves and, whoever that other person may be. Plus, I'm looking at either possibly hiring like a virtual assistant or, eventually if an executive assistant, even if it's just part time right now, just to kind of help out with some of the mundane stuff so I can focus on one, selling. Number one thing is selling because selling is oxygen to a business. Without sales, without money coming in, the business is suffocating. Your business will suffocate, so will mine. And the only thing you're really left with without sales is a rather expensive hobby. I'm not into expensive hobbies. I'm into this to provide a livelihood for myself and my family and my future. And I worry about it, with the people I'm bringing on and help, because they depend on it as well. So it's, I have a lot more to worry about as far as that goes. So whether you're a solopreneur, a entrepreneur, or, you have a number of folks working for you, whether it's, one or two to 100 or so or more, marketing and sales is one of the biggest things that you need to do. And I need to focus on it with my business. And with that being said, make sure that you're checking out the content. Make sure you like it. Follow us on Facebook. Our goal is to hit 1,000 fans on Facebook this year. We have a private marketing group called the Marketing Ninja Group, where occasionally we get some additional content that we just don't share anywhere else other than in that marketing group. And as time goes along, we're going to be adding a lot more to it. And then, as always, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter. And as always, you are more than welcome to comment anywhere that you see these articles. Add your questions, your comments, your concerns, like it, share it. We appreciate it all. Hey, especially if you enjoy the value that I'm delivering. I'm working on being able to deliver even more value, but every one of these videos, I try to deliver the maximum amount of value that I can, whether it's just an idea or a concept or, relaying some of the tactics of what's actually going on. But that's what I'm all about. So, if you appreciate that, if you find a golden nugget, please be sure to like it and share it. With that, it's Monday. I got to get out of here. It's late in the day. Had a very hectic day. Sorry about that, but we'll be back on schedule. Tomorrow is Training Tuesday, so I'm going to try and get the Tuesdays cranked out pretty early, but always with value. So take care. Love, peace, and chicken grease.